The Leadership Revolution, Unleashing the Power of Participation. Welcome to the Black CEO podcast, where we dive deep into the minds of visionaries who are reshaping the landscape of leadership. Today, we're in for a treat that's going to flip your understanding of leadership on its head. We're exploring the groundbreaking insights of Rita, a true luminary in the world of participatory leadership. Now, you might be wondering, who is Rita Wise? Let me tell you, she's not just another leadership guru. Rita is a force of nature, a woman who has dedicated her life to transforming organizations from the inside out. Her work has touched countless lives, from bustling startups to Fortune 500 giants. She's the secret weapon behind some of the most innovative and employee-friendly companies in the world. Rita is not just talking about making the workplace better. She's actively creating a future where every voice matters, where leadership isn't about power, but about empowerment. So buckle up, folks. We're about to embark on a journey that might just revolutionize the way you think about leadership. And trust me, by the end of this talk, you'll be itching to shake things up in your own organization. Let's kick things off with a question that might make some of you squirm in your seats. When was the last time you felt truly heard at work? I mean, really, truly heard, not just nodded at and then ignored, but listened to with genuine interest and consideration? If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. And that, my friends, is exactly the problem that participatory leadership aims to solve. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Participatory leadership sounds like some new age kumbaya nonsense. Well, let me stop you right there. This isn't about holding hands and singing around a campfire. Although, let's be honest, that doesn't sound half bad after a stressful week. No, this is about harnessing the full potential of your team, about creating an environment where innovation isn't just encouraged, it's inevitable. Think about it this way. You're the captain of a ship. The traditional approach would have you barking orders from the helm, expecting your crew to follow without question. But what if instead you invited your crew to share their observations, their ideas, their concerns? What if the newest deckhand then felt comfortable pointing out a potential hazard that even you, with all your experience, might have missed? That's the essence of participatory leadership. It's about recognizing that the best ideas can come from anywhere, that diversity of thought leads to better decisions, and that when people feel valued and heard, they bring their best selves to work. Let's break this down into three key aspects that Rita Wise emphasizes. First up, inclusive decision making. This isn't just about asking for opinions. It's about actively involving team members in the decision-making process. It's about creating a culture where collaboration and open communication are the norm, not the exception. Now, I can almost hear the skeptics among you. That sounds great in theory, but it would never work in practice. Well, let me introduce you to a little company called Google. You might have heard of them. When Google was growing from a scrappy startup to a global tech giant, they faced a massive challenge: how to maintain their collaborative culture at scale. Their solution? They doubled down on participatory leadership. Picture this. You're a fresh-faced engineer at Google, barely out of college. You're in a meeting with the bigwigs discussing the next big feature for Google search. In most companies, you'd be expected to sit quietly and take notes. But at Google, you're encouraged to speak up, to challenge ideas, to bring your unique perspective to the table. They implemented strategies like regular team meetings and feedback sessions, ensuring that even as the company expanded, every voice could still be heard. The result? Google has consistently been at the forefront of innovation, creating products and services that have changed the way we interact with technology. But more than that, they've created a work environment where employees feel valued and engaged. And let me tell you, engaged employees are like rocket fuel for a company's success. This brings us to our second key aspect: empowerment and engagement. When employees feel that their contributions are valued and recognized, something magical happens. They become more invested in their work, more committed to the company's success, and more likely to stick around for the long haul. It's not just about making people feel good, although that's certainly a positive side effect. It's about tapping into the full potential of your workforce. Let's hop over to another tech giant for a moment, Microsoft. Now, there was a time when Microsoft was seen as a lumbering giant, slow to innovate and struggling with employee morale. Enter Satya Nadella. When Nadella took the reins, he didn't just change Microsoft's strategy, he transformed its entire culture. Imagine you're a Microsoft employee who's been there for years. You've got ideas, lots of them, but you've learned to keep your head down and just do your job. Suddenly there's a new sheriff in town and he's asking for your input. Not just asking, but actively seeking it out. Nadella emphasized collaboration and open communication, encouraging employees to contribute to decision-making processes. The result? A resurgence in innovation and a significant improvement in employee satisfaction. Microsoft went from being seen as a dinosaur to a dynamic leader in the tech industry once again, and all because they tapped into the power of their people. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's all well and good for tech companies, but what about the rest of us? Well, hold on to your hats, because participatory leadership isn't just for Silicon Valley darlings. It's an approach that can revolutionize any organization, from small businesses to multinational corporations. Take Amazon, for example. From its early days, founder Jeff Bezos emphasized the importance of collaboration. As the company grew into the e-commerce behemoth we know today, they faced the challenge of maintaining this collaborative culture at scale. Their solution? They went beyond just implementing strategies like regular feedback sessions and team meetings. They embedded this collaborative approach into their very decision-making processes. Have you heard of Amazon's famous two-pizza team rule? The idea is that teams should be small enough to be fed by two pizzas. Now, this isn't just about keeping meetings efficient or saving on the catering budget. It's about ensuring that every team member has a real voice and can contribute meaningfully to decisions. Imagine being part of one of these teams. You're not just a cog in a massive machine. You're an essential part of a small, agile unit. Your ideas matter. Your voice is heard. And the result? Amazon has become one of the most successful companies in the world with a highly engaged workforce driving continuous innovation. But participatory leadership isn't just about implementing a few strategies or holding more meetings. It requires a fundamental shift in how we view leadership itself. This brings us to our third key aspect, the traits of effective participative leaders. Now brace yourselves, because this might challenge some long-held beliefs about what makes a good leader. Participative leaders need to be approachable, empathetic, and flexible. They need to be transparent in their communication and truly team-oriented. But perhaps most importantly, they need to have strong decision-making skills coupled with a willingness to adapt based on team input. Think about it. Being open to input doesn't mean abdicating responsibility. It's not about creating a workplace democracy where every decision is put to a vote. It's about having the confidence to consider multiple perspectives and the wisdom to synthesize them into effective action. It's a delicate balance, but when done right, it can lead to extraordinary results. Let's pause for a moment and do a little self-reflection. How many of these traits do you embody as a leader? Are you approachable, or do your team members hesitate to bring you problems or ideas? Are you empathetic, truly trying to understand your team's perspectives? Or are you quick to dismiss concerns that don't align with your own views? Are you flexible, willing to change course when presented with new information? Or do you stubbornly stick to the plan even when it's clearly not working? These are tough questions, I know, but they're essential if we want to embrace participatory leadership. Because here's the truth. This style of leadership isn't just about changing our actions. It's about changing our mindset. Now, I can almost hear some of you protesting. But what about decisiveness? What about efficiency? Won't all this collaboration just slow us down? These are valid concerns, and they bring us to a crucial point. Participatory leadership isn't about reaching a consensus on every decision. That would be impractical and could indeed lead to decision paralysis. Instead, it's about creating an environment where diverse perspectives are valued, where innovation can flourish, and where every team member feels invested in the company's success. It's about making better decisions by drawing on the collective wisdom and creativity of your entire team. Let me share a personal anecdote that illustrates this point. A few years ago, I was leading a project that was going off the rails. Deadlines were slipping, team morale was low, and I was feeling the pressure to just make executive decisions and push through. But instead, I decided to take a participatory approach. I called a team meeting, laid out the problems we were facing, and asked for input. What happened next was nothing short of amazing. Team members who had been quiet and disengaged suddenly came alive with ideas. We had spirited debates. We challenged each other's assumptions. And in the end, we came up with solutions that were far better than anything I could have devised on my own. Yes, it took a bit more time up front, but the energy and commitment it generated propelled us forward. And we not only got back on track, but exceeded our original goals. That experience was a turning point for me. It showed me firsthand the power of participatory leadership. And it's an approach I've embraced ever since. So where do we go from here? How do we start implementing participatory leadership in our own organizations? Well, as the saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I want to challenge each of you to take that step. Here's what I want you to do. Over the next week, make a conscious effort to practice one aspect of participatory leadership. It could be actively seeking input from a team member you don't usually consult. It could be sharing the reasoning behind the decision you've made, inviting feedback and discussion. Or it could be simply taking the time to truly listen to a colleague's idea, even if it initially seems impractical. But don't stop there. I want you to really push yourself out of your comfort zone. If you're in a leadership position, consider implementing a reverse mentoring program where junior employees mentor senior executives on topics like technology or emerging trends. If you're not in a formal leadership role, take the initiative to start a cross-functional innovation team, bringing together diverse perspectives to tackle a company challenge. And here's the kicker. I want you to document your experience. Keep a journal, make notes on your phone, whatever works for you. Pay attention to how it feels both for you and for your team members. Notice the energy in the room when people feel truly heard and valued. And most importantly, track the outcomes. Are you seeing more innovative ideas emerge? Is there a shift in team dynamics? Are problems being solved more effectively? Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't going to be easy. You might face resistance, both from others and from your own ingrained habits. You might feel vulnerable or uncertain at times, but I promise you the rewards are worth it. Because here's the thing, participatory leadership isn't just about making our workplaces better, although that's certainly a worthy goal. It's about something much bigger. It's about creating a world where every voice matters, where collaboration trumps competition, where we harness the full potential of human creativity and innovation to solve the complex challenges facing our planet. Imagine a world where this style of leadership was the norm, not the exception, where governments engage citizens in meaningful dialogue about policies that affect their lives, where businesses saw their employees not as resources to be managed, but as partners in creating value, where schools nurtured not just academic skills, but the ability to think critically, collaborate effectively, and lead with empathy. That's the world that Rita envisions, and it's a vision that I wholeheartedly share. And the beautiful thing is, we have the power to create that world. One decision, one conversation, one act of participatory leadership at a time. So I leave you with this question. What kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of world do you want to create? The power is in your hands. It's time to unlock it. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Now go forth and lead, not from above, but from within. The revolution starts with you.